Had her at Imagine a couple of years ago in Vancouver for the first time I think you'd done a conference like that, and she did a great talk, premised it with the 7 words you can't say on television. So today we asked her to come up with 7 that you can, and they're the same words. All right, this will be interesting. Please welcome Kelly Carlin. Kelly.
I was thinking this morning there's actually definitely one word you can't say on television now, as Bill Maher found out the other night. But this isn't a talk about language. I have to catch my breath. My heart is racing right now. Anyway, yes, as Monty Python likes to say, and now for something completely different. We've been here all weekend taking in great information from amazing minds and hearts, and we've been sitting a lot. So I thought I would offer a little something different, but I am going to talk a little bit first, give you some context of some things. I'm always so honored when you in this community, a gathering of free thinkers, atheists, secular humanists, or what I like to call curious heathens. It's a new term I've coined. I'm hoping we can make t-shirts out of it. Ask me to be a part of something. Growing up, I'd never had to think of myself as a theist, so the notion of having to say I'm an atheist was truly foreign to me. I was not raised in a home where a specific religion was taught to me. We were part of the be here now, drop some acid to see God, and in the end, aren't we all just part of the big electron school of spirituality in my household? If you know my dad's routine about the big electron. Although my dad clearly saw the mountains of bullshit that religious institutions offered, my father often spoke privately, actually, of being an agnostic, but after Professor Dawkins' speech last night, I'm sure my dad would have had different thoughts about that. But basically, the reason he thought of himself as an agnostic was because he just had a difficulty with being a part of any group at all. So therefore, he'd be really uncomfortable here. Actually, I hate to tell you, my dad was such an introvert. He did not like to be a part of any group that had the potential to become dogmatic or print t-shirts about their beliefs. My father actually was a very whimsical man who really loved the great mystery of it all. And that is what he taught me. He was fascinated by science and astronomy. He taught me all the constellations and quantum physics. I have all of his quantum physics books and things like that in my library. They're very dear to me. So I was lucky that I didn't have a family, that I had no religious family bullshit to sort through and reject. I just had the other American family bullshit to sort through, like addiction, perfectionism, and denial. But that's a story that I've been telling for the last 5 years. It's one, if you're interested in, is in my book out in the bookstore. And yes, I will sign it. But even though I never felt the need to identify as an atheist, more recently I have understood why using that word is so important. It's a political act. And in truth, as you get to know me more, I identify myself mostly as an artist and as a writer. Technically, I'm a practitioner of Buddhist philosophy and meditation, and no, not the chanting kind. And no, not the woo-woo kind. I don't believe in reincarnation. And I'm kind of in the Dalai Lama's mind. If science tells me something's true, I go with that. But Buddhism was important to me, and the most important thing about Buddhism that I love is that identifying with anything is ultimately bullshit. So identify as being a human. I'm a humanist. But like I said, I understand the importance, and especially in these dangerous times, the political importance of identifying myself as an atheist. I am a strict believer in the idea of separation of church and state, and I find myself having some very non-Buddhist violent urges when I hear that some asshole wants to put their God inside my vagina or my mind or on my planet, dealing with the environment. I don't do well with arrogant piety, something my father taught me. So I want to thank Bill and Kathy for inviting me back to be a part of this great weekend. It's more than a conference, it's a chance to become family here, and I really, really love that. Last year, trying to find my way into this community, because I was invited into this community, I didn't quite know where to be and how to go. So last year I decided to talk about my search for a soulful life full of meaning, and where that took me. And I guess it went well because I'm back again. And then when Bill invited me to come here this summer, I decided I was going to expand what I did last summer at the Reason Rally. Last year at the Reason Rally, I stepped deeper into the work that I know I want to do here in the world right now. I want to be of service to people so that they can learn to stop and pause and drink in this one precious life. I want people, no matter their life circumstance, to have the opportunity to feel gratitude, awe, and love for this amazing consciousness, this human life that we live on this rare chunk of rock soaring through the universe. With all the problems and challenges and suffering in the world, there is still so much to be thankful for, and I want to be a catalyst for that. I spent many years of my life in emotional turmoil, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, agoraphobia, and so I know what it's like to be trapped, to feel trapped, and not be able to feel that you can feel some good or light in the world. But through much work and many means and paths, I did finally found a connection to the ground of my being, a place to land, a center to move out into the world from, and I am so, so grateful for this. And if I can be just the teeniest little catalyst for others to find their center, their gratitude, or a slice of awe, I am always truly honored to be a part of that. For the last 17 years, I've been practicing the craft of writing and performing personal essays, storytelling. Not consistently. There was 3 years of grad school where I got my master's in Jungian psychology, and yes, you can be rational and be a Jungian at the same time. And then there was 2 years of interning as a therapist, and then sitting there only to find myself fantasizing about being on stage and being a storyteller. And I knew that being a therapist, a one-on-one therapist, was not my path. I knew that I wanted to be able to go up on stages and to communicate to a wider audience and to bring connection and community and relational, what I call mindfulness, to the world. But I love to write. I am a writer. I identify myself mostly as a writer. I write to understand. I write to understand myself and the world around me. I write to answer the question, how did I get here? And now that I'm here, what the fuck am I supposed to do about it? I put pen to page in some sort of differentiation process that allows me to decipher the edges of myself versus the world, and sometimes to erase those edges. But that's not the only reason I write. I write about my life stories. The main reason is that for much of my life, I felt so alone, hiding behind a mask, pretending to be normal, desperately wanting to make sure that I passed as a full functioning human being. But at some point, I became tired of the hiding. I wanted my full humanity to be seen, not just to ease my sense of aloneness, but to maybe ease others too. It is clear that we all hide behind masks. It's how we function. And I want to give permission to all of us to, at times, put away our facades and just be real with each other, to not be afraid, to be glorious, broken, and human. The world seems like a complicated mess these days. Everything is a Gordian knot. There is too much to untangle, and we humans don't seem able to even be willing to sit down long enough with each other to decide where to start to untangle it all. We are stuck in a tug of war between factions, tribes, egos, and reputations. Everyone would rather be right than effective. And most definitely, no one wants to be human. God forbid we expose our vulnerabilities to each other. It's too bad because I have found that once you share your humanity, you no longer feel those arbitrary boundaries. It feels like you've been given the secret to the universe. Years before Brené Brown and her talk about vulnerability, I was once told that my most powerful asset was my vulnerability. I did not want to hear that. I wanted to hear that it was my humor and my intellect, something that would have made my father very proud. My vulnerability scared my father. My private vulnerability that I wanted to share publicly in my stories terrified him. We were wired differently. But as I've learned from my craft of storytelling, I've found something to be true. The more vulnerable I'm willing to be, the more likely that my words will land deeply in another's heart and possibly spark for them something that lets them feel less alone behind their mask. It's some of that collective effervescence that Annabelle spoke about earlier. You could say that vulnerability is kind of like a superpower. I remember the first time I got to be in front of the atheist community. It was in 2011, I think it was, at TAM. And my director of my solo show, Paul Provenza, invited me to come and perform my solo show at TAM. I was terrified. I had only encountered some very aggressive atheists since my father's death and felt very judged by them and didn't quite know how to have a conversation with some of them. One of them accused me of being a believer because I used the word amen in a Facebook post. So I was nervous to bring my personal story, which some of it is, if you've seen my show or read my book or saw me even last year, I talk about these encounters with this expanded sense of self, and that some people call it experience of God or something other like that, and it's not. It's just a physiological thing that's happening. But these were moments in my life that were important to me, and I brought my own meaning to them, but I didn't know how that was going to go over at TAM. I remember I was having lunch with my dear friend Gary Shandling before I came to TAM, and he's a practicing Buddhist like me, Vipassana tradition, mindfulness mostly. And he said to me, you know, Kelly, you're going to be in a room with a bunch of people who are very intelligent, and that's a great thing because it's wonderful to have an intelligent audience. But he said, I want you to remember that your power is in your emotional intelligence. And that shifted everything for me. And after I did my show, which I got the best standing ovation I'd ever had in my life, I hugged grown men who were crying in my arms after the show. I had cracked their hearts open, and I realized, oh, okay, I do have a place here. So that's why I'm bringing my vulnerability here to you today. Because it makes humans very nervous to be vulnerable with each other. And yet I believe that if we don't learn to be real, authentic, and vulnerable with each other, we will never be able to face, let alone solve, the enormous challenges this planet is already encountering and will encounter in the next century. Since I saw you last year, some of you are repeat offenders being here, I've been doing some shedding, and I've been doing actually a lot of shedding. I've stopped touring my solo show. The paperback of my book was released. I am done telling my being the daughter of George Carlin's story in public. My father will always be with me, but I am more than, obviously, I am the sum of more of my parts, something like that. I donated, actually, I wanted to tell this group, because you guys are most of you are from Toronto. I donated my dad's archives to a place called the National Comedy Center, which is in Jamestown, New York, which is just across the lake from you, actually. And in 2018, they'll be opening a visitor experience where you'll get to go. They're opening a corner of the room, the museum will have something called The Mind of the Comedian, and it will be, you'll get to step into my father's mind and experience his creative process. I'm very honored that they took his archives and there's a safe place for it. After having the opportunity these last 9 years to dive deep into the story of my life on the page and the stage, I have felt a tug on my sleeve to step out of my own way, my own story, to be available for a larger story, the story of us humans. I am not a biologist, I am not a physicist, I'm not even a historian, but I am someone who knows that in order to feel like life has meaning, I must feel connected to others, nature, and the awe that is available only when we are fully present in the moment. I must know where I fit into the scheme of those things. I am a creature in a body, part of a species, on a planet, trying to navigate all that comes my way. I've been meditating for almost 20 years now. I'm not very diligent or purposeful about it, but it has been a constant stance in my life. It has taught me to be a witness to all the stories in my head that I construct about who I am, all the stories in our culture that want to tell me who to be, and all the stories through the millennium about what our existence in the universe means or doesn't mean. Meditation has afforded me the skills to be still, detach, and watch the show. And speaking of shows, I just want to let people know, the biggest question I get these days about my father is, what would he think about what's going on in the world right now? What would he think about Trump? And I want to just leave you for this part with my father, is he had this great line where he said, when you're born, you get a ticket to the freak show. When you're born in America, you get a front row seat. That is all we need to know about what my father would think about Trump. Anyway, these mindfulness skills taught me, actually literally saved my mental health. But being still and detaching has not made me a cold witness to it all. Strangely, it has taught me how to connect and love everything. It has taught me acceptance, to open my heart to everything that life brings my way, and know that I can be with it all. Meditation has taught me to watch and love myself and you and the universe. In these times, one thing that I am seeing, and I'm sure you are too, is that in our cultures, we are not seeing each other, let alone loving each other. We are not connecting. We all have lots of stories about those people over there and how stupid and ignorant and dangerous they are. And yes, some of them are. But even though that may be true, no matter what, until we connect through our glorious broken humanity with each other, it's still just a story we have about the other. We are not seeing ourselves as humans. We are seeing ourselves as subsets, tribes, factions, and parties. And I know one thing about this community here. It wants to reach out to others, to invite them into a space where it's safe to not have to believe in magical men in the sky. We want to offer people the freedom to question, ponder, and be free thinkers. So today, this is the part where, and now for something completely different comes in, I want to take you on a little ride. I want to wake you up a little bit. And I want to offer an experience where we all get to see what it's like to encounter each other beyond the stories we have stored up about ourselves, the other, and what it means to be human. I want to offer a space to step into a way of being with each other that allows us to take off our masks, these ideas of who we think we're supposed to be, and to maybe create some new stories about who we are as humans collectively. So I'm not going to ask you to ponder your own story or write it today. I'm actually going to ask you to connect with each other's glorious broken humanity. Would that be okay with everyone? Can I get a show of hands? Great, thank you. I want to offer an exercise that will have you feel more grounded in your body. How many people would like that? Why not? Fabulous. Whatever that means, you're saying. What the fuck is she talking about? I want to give you a safe space amongst your tribe here to practice taking off your mask. Is anyone up for that? Oh, that's a little more nerve-wracking. That's a little more terrifying. Okay, well, no matter what, those of you who want to participate, I'd be honored to have you participate. So what I'm going to have you do, for those who are able-bodied and can stand up and walk, I would love for all of you to stand up right now. We've been sitting all weekend. Come on, open your eyes, stand up. Do me a favor, if you're going to participate, and shove all the chairs into the tables so we have a little room to walk around and move our bodies. Normally I do this in a big room that's has a lot more space. We're going to make it up today. And those of you who are truly uncomfortable with this, please feel free to leave the room. I don't take it personally at all. Professor Dawkins just walked out, which is totally fine with me. It is absolutely fine. This is not for everybody. I just want to offer something. There's no magical thinking in what we're going to do today. There's no transcendent God. There's nothing like that. We're just human beings in a room together going to have an encounter. So great. So what I'm going to have you do next is I want you all to walk around the room a little bit and be careful. There's chairs, there's wires. Just be mindful. I want you to start walking around. Let your hands go. Get out, just walk around and like really walk. Like move to the other side of the room. Take up space up here. There's tons of space at the back of the rooms, the sides of the room. There's tons of space. That's great. Just walk around. And while you're walking around, no words. No words, please. Just walk around. No words. Because we're going to actually get present here. Okay, this is called relational mindfulness. You're going to do great. So I want you to imagine you just come out of the perfect people on stage here. Love you guys. You've just come out of your house and you're in the middle of the city, you're walking, you're rushing to get somewhere, and all you know is that all these people in chairs and shit in front of you are in your way because you are the most important person on planet Earth and you need to get to where you're going. So even if it's not quite, you can't rush right now with your physical being, I want you to imagine that you're in the middle of Times Square and you're trying to get there and you're trying to get to your subway and it's late and the kids are going to be late if you don't get them to the thing and you're going to miss your job interview and it's going to be a fucked up day if you don't get there. And who the fuck are these people in front of me? Don't they know I'm the most important thing on planet Earth? Oh, and feel free to turn around and go the other direction. If you feel like you're in a loop, go the other direction. Mix it up, people. Get your brains awake. Get yourself alive. Okay, this is great. You're doing great. You're important. People are in your way, and they don't know why. Oh, what do these people know? They don't know anything about why you're in the rush. Why am I in a rush? They don't know, and they don't give a shit, and I don't give a shit about them. Fuck you. Get out of my way. I'm more important than you. Okay, great. So now I want you to just slow down. I want you to slow your walking down. Slow down. Slow down. And just feel what this feels like, this pace. Look inside, just feel, notice your feet on the ground. Feel what that feels like. Notice what it feels like to just be moving through the space slower. What does it feel like, the wind on your face? What does it feel like when you can actually see people a little bit? You're slowing down enough, you can look at people in the eyes. Notice there's other human beings here. Maybe you just notice a friend like these two lovely ladies did. Allow a little eye contact right now. Notice that these are living beings around you, swirling about you. Are they like you? Are they different? Allow some curiosity about them to arise. What might they be thinking? Where might they be going? What might their list of tasks and appointments be today? Feel the difference in your body when you make eye contact with someone. Now gently, I want you to come to a standstill. And I want you to find yourself facing one other person. Just find a person. There you go. And get about 3 or 4 feet apart, just so you can see into each other's eyes. And if you don't have a partner, raise your hand and let me know. Everyone have a partner? Oh, there's a person who needs a partner. There she goes. See, these women know how to do this. Is that a one? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, go together. I'm sorry. I thought I saw your hair. I thought you were a woman. Bad me. This person here, so Bill, is Bill here? Do you have a partner? Okay. All right, Bill, will you step out so this person can have a partner with her? Thank you. Bill's my guinea pig because I can't count in twos for everybody. All right. So this is great. So stand here with your partner. Let your arms down to your side. I know it's awkward. I totally get it. Remember, we're practicing something new. But first of all, just don't worry about your partner so much. I want you to take a deep breath in and out. Let your lungs that take in oxygen and bring it into your circulatory system that feeds every organ and 37 trillion cells in your body, let your lungs fill with air. Take another breath. Let your breath out. You know, we haven't always had lungs. They came about 375 million years ago with our reptilian ancestors. So just let's take a moment and give a shout out to the reptilian ancestors. Well done. Now, let yourself take in this person in front of you. Making eye contact acknowledging that this is probably the most uncomfortable moment of your entire life. And yes, a laugh always comes with it. This is okay. This is part of our natural wiring. This is not easy for us. Intimacy is not easy. This is okay. But then just let it be okay also, and let yourself relax and look softly into each other's eyes. And just register their presence in front of you. And laughter may come some more, that's okay, but no talking, no need to discuss anything. Wonderful, you guys are doing fucking great. All right, if your mind still feels a little busy, take a moment or two, like you know how, to just slow yourself down. You know how to do this. It's called self-soothing. It's an important thing to know. We all know how to do it. Check in with your feet on the floor. Feel your feet in your shoes. Feel the floor supporting you. Let all your attention and your weight drop down. Once again, now take in this human in front of you. Here is another someone alive on this planet Earth at this very same moment as you. Alive in the same crazy world with its increasing sense of chaos and uncertainty, with all its pressures, demands, crises, and confusions. But they are not off trying to navigate that world right now. No, they are here. They are here in this ballroom in Toronto at Imagine No Religion today. This person has made the choice to be here now, to give up their weekend to be with others who care about the many things that you also care about. This person is also seeking connection and community among like-minded people. She or he are free thinkers, and they are good without God, and care enough about what is happening on earth to want to make a difference, to play their part in moving the world forward. Take that in. Let it sink in. Feel how it is to be with this person right now. And now, without words, thank your partner for being here, and then we're going to walk again. So we're going to walking back again. No words, no language, no talking, please. Walking. We're walking. Taking your surroundings and the people around you. Now that you've had your first encounter, you know that I'm not some kind of crazy person, or maybe I am a crazy person. And now find yourself in front of a new person. Turn and just stop and find yourself in front of a new person. You'll find each other. It's a big group, but you will find each other. Wonderful. Still, a hand for someone who doesn't have a partner. Who doesn't have a partner? Okay, right here and right here. Oh, you guys got each other? Where you? Okay, Bill, where are you? Bill's going to step in and be your partner. We lost someone. They thought I'm a fucking crazy woman, and they lost someone. Okay, no, we're good. We still got a partner. All right, you're all still here with us. Oh, wait, yes. Bill, would you come here and be with her? Bill's going to come do it with you. All right.
But I'm so uptight now because I wasn't doing the right.
I know, you're going to be fine. You're a big boy. All right. Now that you've had an encounter, except for Bill, notice how you feel different in front of your new partner. Take them in. Find yourself in front of them without words. Greet them. And now take the right hand. Each of you take each other's right hand. Come across there you go. And just close your eyes so that all your attention goes to the sensation of touch in this hand. What is this object you are holding? There is life in it. If you were anywhere in outer space, in the intergalactic reaches, and you were to grasp this object, you would know that you were home. It is only made here. This is a human hand of planet Earth, and it has taken 5 billion years of conditions particular to this planet to shape it. Now open your eyes and explore this object, this hand, with great curiosity. Let yourself both look down at it, explore each other's hands, behold it as if you had never seen a human hand before, as if you were a visitor from another world. Observe its unique articulation of bone and muscle, turning the palms and fingers. Note the intricacy of structure beneath the skin. Like I said, what you hold is an object unique in our cosmos, a human hand. Note that in the primordial seas where we once swam, this hand was a fin, as it was again in its mother's womb. Feel the energy and intelligence in this hand, that fruit of a long evolutionary journey, of its efforts to swim, to push, to climb, to grasp. Note the opposable thumb, how clever and adept it is. Good for grasping a pen, a tool, even a gun. Open your awareness to the journey that this particular hand has made in this lifetime. Is it young? Is it old? Does it have scars? Is it banged up? Is it smooth? Think about how it opened like a flower when it emerged from the womb, how it reached to explore and do, how it learned, this particular hand learned to hold a spoon, write its name, wipe a tear, and give pleasure. There is nothing like it in all the universe. And once again, find a way to non-verbally thank your partner, and we walk again. And we're walking, and we're walking. Let yourself walk, and then find yourself in front of a new other. Turn and find yourself. Raise hands if people need a partner. One here, one there. There we go. There's two. There's two, right there near you. There's two. Great. Another one here needs a partner. Do we have someone else who needs a partner? I don't know. I think they're dropping like flies. They're dropping like flies is all I can say at this point. All right. Bill, are you in a partnership? Okay, Bill, would you have this young lady meet this person over here, with gentleman with the beard? Come here. Come forward, gentleman with the beard. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're off again, Bill. Sorry. I keep losing them. As you look into your new partner's eyes, open your awareness to the gifts and strengths and potentiality in this being. Behind those eyes are unmeasured reserves of courage and intelligence, patience, endurance, wit, wisdom. There are gifts there of which this person, she or her or himself, is not even aware, probably. Consider what these powers could do for the world if they were to be acknowledged and acted on. In this person are gifts for the edification, empowerment, and healing of our world. In him or her are powers that can rebound to the joy of all beings. As you look into this person's eyes, see if you can see this person's ancestors. Imagine what that looks like, them in their face, stretching behind them, stretching back in time. How many generations of people came together to create and pass on life, to find food and shelter, to pass on wisdom and knowledge so that this person could be born into their family and be here today. And imagine the huge changes that this person's ancestors had seen, how much hardship they had endured, how many problems they had solved, how many days and nights of wonder and elation, fear and sorrow, the resilience they had to adapt over the centuries, the millennia of shifting climates, power structures, more recently the agricultural and industrial revolutions. See those ancestors and all that they bring into this room with this person. And now, without words, express your gratitude for this person and their ancestors, and move along. We are going to walk again. 2 more encounters and then we're done. You guys are doing fantastic. And we'll have time to debrief too. This time I want you to find someone new. Just stop, find the random person. Since it's a random universe, that shouldn't be too difficult. Pick up your hands if you need someone. There's one over here that needs one. There we go. And there we go. Oh, person over here. And I can't see. Oh, and a person over there. Gentleman, all the way to the end. Hair up in a bun, black shirt. We'll wait till these two humans encounter each other. Great, beautiful. Thank you. All right. This time, if it feels comfortable, I want you to put your hands palm to palm at shoulder height. I know someone's taping it all, so it's going to be a little difficult, but you might have to put that down. And open your awareness to the fact that you are facing someone who, like you, don't look at me, look at each other, who has only a limited time on this earth. You now face someone who someday is going to die. I don't mention this to be morbid, but to be real. It may be soon, not so soon, or it may be decades from now. We just don't know which. But we know for certain that it will happen. Breathe. Imagine that this face, these eyes, are the eyes of the person who will be there for you when you make that final moment. Imagine that this face is the last face that you will see. Look at every detail. Take it in. It's okay if emotion's coming up. You're human. It's part of who you are. Now imagine that this is the face of someone that you are caring for in their last moments. Look at every detail and take it in. It's beauty. It's humanity. It's love. Drink in everything. It is so, so precious. And now, without words, express your gratitude in any way you feel appropriate. And we will walk again for our last encounter. And we are walking, and we are walking, and let's walk to a part of the room that we haven't been yet. Let the last encounter breathe inside of you, but also trail behind. And then slowly stop and find yourself in front of your next human encounter. Wonderful. Now let your awareness drop down deep, sinking below the level of what words can express, to the deep web that we've already created. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't do a partnership. Does everyone have someone? Hands? I'm sorry. I got all excited. Gentleman in the plaid shirt. And is there someone here? There's another plaid shirt person coming to meet you. Your plaid shirt tribe is here. This gentleman here needs someone. Bill, would you like to join this gentleman with the... Oh, Bill, okay. Plaid shirt gentleman, please come. We will get Bill for you. Bill will be there for you. I was trying to make a plaid shirt tribe, but it just, I can't do tribes well. There we go. You guys are going to work together. Thank you. All right, so here we are. Last encounter. Let your awareness drop deep within you, whatever that means to you, sinking below the level of what words can express, to the deep web of relationship that underlies all human experience, this web that we've been creating in these last 15 minutes. It's that interdependent nature of the universe in which we're all a part of, which sustains us, and that interweaves us all through everything. See this being before you and know that they are here in the web with you. They are part of your family, your species, this interesting thing we have called being a sentient being. You may never encounter this person again, or you may partner with them on some grand project that the world needs to move forward. Either way, know that this mind, this body, this heart in front of you is somehow connected. And now imagine, if you will, and imagine, like this is an imaginal exercise, that this person here in front of you is here because they have a special message for you. Strangely, it's the same message that everyone has for each other right now. This message is that you actually do have important work to do on this planet, no matter how big or small, and that you not only have a right to be here, but that you're an integral part of its evolution. Know that this person here sees your unique gifts, your wisdom, your intellect, your heart. They know that you will do things, and do things, every day to create more consciousness and more, how do I put it, critical thinking in the world. They see your power to do that. Know that you are part of this web here in this room, this community, And it's real. It's a real community. And then in some nonverbal way, thank this person for being here today and to be a part of your community. And then what I would like to do is offer you to sit down back at your seats, and you can take a few minutes. I'm just going to take just a few minutes for you to share with someone next to you one-on-one about what this experience has been like for you. And I have some questions to help guide that. You can even do it alone if you want. There are pieces of paper on the table if you want to write some of this down. How much time do I have? Perfect. So we're going to take about 5 minutes to debrief with each other, and then I'm going to ask you some questions to ponder. Okay, let's wrap it up. Bring your attention back up here. Finish your last sentence. First of all, I want to thank you all sincerely for trusting me and letting me do that. Really, I've never done it in such a large group, and I've been doing that exercise for about 10 years with different groups. And so I really want to honor the trust and the courage it took for you to step into that. And so thank you. So there's a couple of questions that I have for you, and also would love a more of a one-on-one debriefing with other people, because I'm really trying to do something different and be of service to this community in a different way, and I want to bring practices like this to this community for those who want it. And so I'm just trying to understand how this community filters these things and the impact of it. That's because if there's no impact, then what the fuck am I doing here? So, but these are some things to ponder. So, how did it feel to move so outside of your comfort zone? You know, that was a big comfort zone leap for many of you, because I know some people are on the spectrum, some aren't, some, think that anything like that is woo-woo bullshit, and yet we didn't do anything woo-woo at all. We just looked at each other's eyes and thought about things. So I'm just that's one thing to think about. But I'm really curious about, did you find yourself making up things about the other person? And what did it feel like to just look into another person's eyes for longer than a nanosecond? What that was like? Think about which one was your favorite encounter, and which one was like, I don't ever want to do that again. Mostly curious about your idea about what it means to be human, how that experience might have shifted something or expanded something or changed something. Just so curious about this human being stuff we're doing here. And when we look at each other in such an intimate way, we are breaking through some self-imposed relational barriers. And what was that like for you? It can be scary in the moment, but then you survived it. Like, you really, really survived it, that level of intimacy. And I know that when we're able to widen that up, that for me, anxiety level goes down, so in the world in general. And how might this encounter we had today be useful for you as you move out into the world and do your work, even though you might not stop strangers on the street and ask them to look deeply into their eyes. So those are some questions I have for you, and I would love to take some questions too. And I just want to plug something for myself. I'm doing a 3-month-long online, it's an oxymoron. I'm doing an online summer sabbatical this summer, and I'm offering mindfulness live webinars. And there's a little blue thing here. It's in the bookstore. You can also go to my website, kellycarlin.com, and go to the teaching tab. And there'll be nothing woo-woo about it. There'll be no magical thinking. But it'll be actual tools you can use to Step away from the chaos. Here's the plug. Hit the pause button on your life. Reclaim your peace of mind in these chaotic times. Find real balance in this technology-driven 24/7 world. Gain clarity and discover who you come back to yourself, not have to be in there all the time. Connect with other curious and free-thinking seekers of self-awareness without sacrificing your intelligence, humor, or badass self. That's my pitch. So I would love to take questions or hear comments about this experiences. I'm learning here about all this, and I have no answers. I know nothing. So or you can also ask me anything, really. If you have questions about my dad, that's fine too. I'm fine with answering questions about him too. But would just love to hear from you about your experience. Yes.
Okay, mine's just a comment.
We can't hear you, and I want to make sure that everyone can hear you.
God, turn on the microphone.
Or the sound person. Can you hear me?
Working now?
Hey! What's your name?
It's Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi. What I wanted to say is I really enjoyed that experience, and what it reminded me of, I think I mentioned to one or two people on the floor here today, in 2014, there was a little video that came out on YouTube, one of those things that people watch, and it was about bringing a bunch of strangers to kiss for the very first time. And you
Yes.
watch people's micro-expressions and how awkward, et cetera, that they are, and that's exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah, good, good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You guys should all watch that video. It's just called The First Kiss.
It sounds cool.
Yeah, and that's you're watching it. You're watching the same experience, but from
Uh-huh.
3 steps back.
Oh,
Which
not,
is
yeah, yeah.
magical.
Yeah, and that might, for some people, that's a kind of an easier way in, too. That's great. So thank you. Thank you for that. Yes.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi there.
It's James.
Yes, hi, James.
And I'm just curious as to, we talked briefly before about personal experiences in life and where they lead you. And so what kind of led you to, I guess, the Buddhist mentality, the mindfulness exercises? What was the primary focus to get you there?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and thank you for that. My mother died in 1997. She died very quickly from liver cancer, and our family did death very poorly. We're an alcoholic family of denial, so no one talks about what's really going on in the room. Part of my book, the theme of my book, is that my father was one of the greatest truth tellers of the 20th century, except when it came to telling the truth at home. None of us knew how to do it. We were a typical dysfunctional family. So we did death really poorly. And I wanted to be able to sit with death and at least learn to do my death and be with other people's death in a more present way. And I knew that the Buddhists, especially the Zen Buddhists, but one of the meditations you learn in Buddhism, or can, if it depends on your teacher, is to meditate on your own death and the actual deterioration of your physical body. To sit with death. So I wanted to learn to sit with death. And so I went to a Thich Nhat Hanh retreat and did a walking meditation with 1,200 people through nature. We were on a nature trail and we were doing a walking meditation, and here's walking meditation. And the first time you do it, all you can think is, what the fuck are these people doing? Can't we just get there faster? I mean, I hated it. But we're on this trail, and 1,200 of us were doing walking meditation, and I looked over, and about 40 feet away was a little fox hunting, and he had no idea that we were there. And I thought, oh, I like this shit. And I did have a big anxiety disorder, and so really the mindfulness, the watching of the thoughts, has really helped me, without drugs or anything, deal with panic attack and all of that. So that led me into that work. The work that we did here today, the exercise we did here today, is by a woman named Joanna Macy, who actually works with a lot of activists, environmental activists on the front line. She's been working with them for 40 years. Most of them were around destruction of rainforests and things like that. I mean, people who tie themselves to tractors and things like that. And she's created a lot of this work. It's called the work that reconnects. And part of it she teaches to activists because it helps us feel not so fucking alone in the world when we can connect to each other. So, so that led me on that path. And I'm basically a Zen practitioner. So I mean, culturally, there's always, with Buddhism, there's always cultural, the cultural part of it, of spirits and the bardos and all that kind of stuff. But I've never been exposed to that. So, but it's changed my life. It really has. It just makes me a happier person to not have to be fucked up by my thoughts all day. So, and in my book, I talk a little bit about it more. So, yes, thank you. What's your name?
Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Yeah, my dad died when I was 12, and it really sort of impacted, it's a watershed event in my life. I've fought through addictions, and I've done a lot of work on intimacy, so that was not a difficult exercise for me, but it was really beautiful.
Thank you. Glad for you.
Most valuable thing that I did this weekend, without a doubt. I love learning things, but I also try really hard to work on the emotional side of myself. And what came up for me was just how fragile.
Yes, yes.
Just how fragile we are as the tears came to our eyes and we held each other in a couple of those encounters. And this will seem maybe a little bit off the wall, but I couldn't help but think of, the greatest public villain, at least in my life right now, is Donald Trump, and he deserves every bit of the villainy. And yet, I couldn't help but think of what a broken,
Yes.
fragile human being he is.
Yeah.
Causing great damage.
Yeah.
in his
As
futility
as they
and
usually do. I mean, that's where the
But I just, I just thought, oh my goodness, I wish that I could look into his eyes and reach his brokenness.
Yeah.
And somebody could hold him and tell him that he's lovable, and then he could resign.
Michael brings up a great point. One of the practices we do is loving kindness practice, and we always start with like someone we love, like a pet, someone really easy to love in the meditation, and then we go to someone neutral, like maybe a clerk you see every day at the market, the supermarket. You might know their name or not, but they're kind of a more neutral person. And then we go to someone who's difficult to sit with. And of course, for 8 years during the Bush administration, I always sat with Dick Cheney and did the same exercise, realizing that this is a man who also feels the suffering. And there's something else that I want to honor that Michael said that brought tears to my eyes, which is part of the work that's so difficult is to sit with the suffering of the world, to sit with that there is no God going to rescue us. There's no instant coffee fix in all of this, that there is a lot of suffering in every moment, and it can feel very overwhelming. And one of the ways we deal with overwhelm is sometimes to compartmentalize it, and we have to in order to fucking get out of bed every morning. But if you can sit a bit with the enormity of it all and open your heart to it, something, I believe and know, shifts. And the capacity for me to hold that changes how I walk through the world and how I face and deal with people like Donald Trump every day as an American citizen. So I wanted to honor that. Yes, our last person.
Thank you very much for that exercise. It was excellent. I felt a little bit like Michael in that it was like a very meaningful experience for me. So I have, I guess, maybe 3 quick things to say. One is that when I try to take my masks off, I don't know where one ends and another one begins.
Yes. Oh,
Seems like
I think we do this.
Well, you make it sound so easy, but I don't know how many there are. I don't know how thick or thin they are.
Yeah.
I don't know if I get to the end, if I'll be at the end. So about the masks, that's what I felt. The second thing is that walking around this room, I mean, it's not a big room. We're all safe. Everything's fine.
Yes.
You know, it's comfortable, but I felt fear, a whole range of emotions walking through the room and wondering who I was going to be looking at. And I felt fear, which was interesting because there's nothing wrong with fear.
Right, there's no tigers in this room. Yeah.
Except me.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was that I somehow felt this need to live up to the expectations of the other person.
That's great.
Is this good enough?
Yes.
Am
Am I a good partner? Yes, yes. The thoughts in our head. Awesome. Yes.
And then actually one more thing to say, because I'm thinking so much about the soul, because that's the little bit of atheism I can't let go of that.
Uh-huh.
Like if it's not
Yeah,
and then with the last person.
we could use coffee. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
What did you say? You could use what?
No, never mind. I'm sorry.
I do need a word.
Yeah, you could make one up.
I could make.
That thing that I used to call soul. Yeah. Coffee, yes. Anyway, I'm sorry. Totally, I'm sorry.
I could use soul and put it backwards.
Louse.
I need a word because I feel the emotion, and I want to be able to identify that.
Yeah.
When I was with the last person, it's kind of interesting because I'm struggling with this soul thing and everything. I thought, there it is. Identified the person that I was looking into their eyes. I saw that thing that I would have called it the soul, but I'm with atheists, so I saw it, but I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah. I call it the human part of us. It's, I mean, yeah. Thank you so much, because the languaging, and I too have been on a path with all of this. I get it, you know. The word soul is bantered about a lot in the depth psychology world, and it's like, what do you mean by that, and everything. And you know, so you have to sort through all of this stuff. And so yeah, that's why I call it like the glorious broken human. I mean, that's what it is. There's obviously a spark of life in us, and all. I also call it the space between us, and sometimes I just call it that we are the sum. What is that thing? We are more the sum of our parts. That thing. I'm menopausal. I have no more words anymore. Thank you all so very much. Thank yourselves, and have a great afternoon.